Evening and welcome. How are we doing? Welcome to episode 26. Episode 26 of the Always Better Than Yesterday interview session. So thank you. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to send some invites just to make sure we've got lots of people in the conversation. I hope that we've had a great weekend. I hope that we're doing well. As always, if you are a first-time listener, to an Always Better Than Yesterday interview session, let me just say thank you. Let me appreciate you. Drop me a little red heart emoji in the comments. Let me know that you're here, and let me say thank you for joining for the very first time. I hope this adds value. I'll explain a little bit about what these interview sessions are all about in a second. And if you are a returning Always Better Than Yesterday interview session watcher, then please do drop a blue love heart emoji. Let me know so I can virtually fist bump you and appreciate you as always. Now, these have been earned from a long weekend, late back from London last night. But if you haven't seen yet, I managed to go for a ride in a killer whale down the London Thames. Yeah, I rode in a killer whale. So we had an adventure day yesterday, and yeah, that's it. What else is there left to accomplish in life? And if you've submerged and ridden in a killer whale, that's it, right? So I've definitely earned those bags today. So today, our episode 26 is with life coach Esther McCann. I won't say too much about her. I'll let her introduce herself. Hopefully I'm loud and clear through my headphones. And I was connected with Esther through her Instagram account. We have mutual friends in common, and she was putting out some fantastic content. And I love to connect with like-minded people. So when I saw her putting her content out, I knew I had to connect. I knew I had to reach out and have like-minded conversations. Because we on this journey can never get too much help. So it was awesome to be able to connect with her. And our first conversation lasted for nearly an hour, and between the two of us, we didn't shut up. So hopefully we'll be much the same today. And hopefully, if this is your first Always Better Than Yesterday interview session, you will know by the end of it that this is all about mindset, helping you understand the habits and the mindset behind successful and inspiring people. And looking at some of the practical things that you can learn to take away and then implement in your own life. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Esther on. She says she's a technophobe, but I don't believe it because she's ready. Drum roll, connecting.
Haha!
There we go.
I am a technophobe. It was like, can you rotate it? And I was like, but I don't want to rotate it because then it'll be like that. And then, but yeah. So
Thank you for
stupid.
joining me. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, you're looking great.
I made a bit more effort for this one.
Well, I didn't.
I don't. Nah. You put a shirt on. Shirt on.
Absolutely. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, very good.
Amazing. Can you do me the honour and the privilege of introducing your good self to the watchers and listeners?
Hi, everyone. So I'm Esther McCann. I'm a life coach. I'm from Bristol in the United Kingdom. So I know that there's people watching from a lot further afield than that. Hello. My main areas that I'm very passionate about are mindset and the belief that you need to have your mindset in the right place in order to manifest your goals. So yeah, that's me.
Mic drop. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all.
I can go now.
That's all there is to learn. That's it. Nail on the head. Amazing. Yeah. So let's get to know you a bit better. Tell us a little bit more about your story.
My story. So my story really began. It really kicked off last September. Because that was when I had the penny drop moment that I needed to leave my marriage. And I've always been a very strong person, very decisive person. But it was just an absolute shifting point for me. And I knew that I had to do something about that. that doesn't mean that was an easy thing to do. And, it wasn't, I didn't like suddenly massively power up and just go at it all guns blazing. And, it didn't happen like that. But no matter what, for anybody going through that, it is a very brave decision.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about that then. What gave you the courage to make that decision? And, was it you said the penny dropped. Tell us about that penny dropping.
The penny dropping moment was really, for me, I mean, there'd been a lot of moments within the marriage where I'd felt, belittled, not supported. It's with marriage, it's a vow for life. It's with, through sickness and in health. But, even in moments of sickness, it was like I would still get told to fuck off, without airing all my dirty laundry. But there was just this one time where we were out and, I got, shouted at in public and people were staring, and it kind of carried on, and it just then, but then we walked around this corner and we saw someone we knew, and, he gave that person the time of day and, was really, really nice to them. And I just thought, no, this is when you're spending the rest of your life with a person, why is it that I'm the person that gets the most hate? Like, why am I so hated? Like, it was that kind of thing. And I just knew at that moment, I was like, this isn't my happy ever after. That isn't anybody's happy ever after, and you shouldn't have to tolerate it. It was, it's in front of our daughter, and I completely disagreed with that. I don't want her to think that, a dad should treat them, mum that way, and that it's all right for me to just say yes, and I'll put up with that. So that really, for me, it just felt like is it the straw that broke the camel's back? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. But
I'm not good at phrases.
Well,
terrible.
What you should do is just make your own phrases up, and then you've got quotes for a lifetime for your Instagram page.
I do try to make up a few of my own. Yeah,
absolutely. So, okay, so that's the straw that broke the camel's back. But how did the camel get back up again? Not that I'm referring to you as a camel.
Oh, I'm gonna get you for that one. Well, so something I've talked about before is that I, at the time, found Billy Joel's River of Dreams, and I didn't realize the song was about divorce, but this song just touched me so deeply. Like the lyrics from that song, he's talking about how he feels lost, like he's lost his identity. Exactly how I felt. Like I felt that I had no sense of identity. I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew that this wasn't what I wanted. And every night he goes to the river because he's trying to cross to the opposite side. And I saw that the river for me was that moment of trying to bridge that gap and say, I don't want this anymore. That was crossing the river for me. And I didn't know what I wanted on the other side of it. I just knew that I wanted happiness. So I was listening to that, honestly, from 7 a.m. till like 11 at night, even at work. And I was just like, I wasn't really jamming out. I was like,
yeah.
Everyone at work knew that I was just like, oh. And then I was on Google at work going, how do I sort this out? And then I found the letter that I've mentioned before. So found a lady who said that she'd written a letter to her husband, and I thought this would resonate so much better for me. I don't really like verbal confrontation, and I feel like, I'd approached it verbally before, and I felt like it wouldn't work. And I felt this is going to work for me. And then because she signed it at the bottom, Esther, I just took that as a huge sign from the universe. And that's what that's what I did. So wrote this letter out, printed it off, put it in my handbag, and there it stayed, for a couple of weeks until, I got to that moment. And it was really, really hard couple of weeks because it sounds awful. But during that time, every single day, he bought presents. Every day, and it was because he knew that I was on my way out. And as much as some people go, a present is a nice gesture, but it's like when you get to this point and you've gone through this emotionally, a present isn't going to cut it, and a present doesn't show that you really want to change. So I was, and it made me feel sick every time, because I was like, this isn't what I want. And that, you know, the pressure was mounting. And then eventually one day it all came to a head and I gave him this letter. And then after that, it just 100 miles an hour. Yeah, gone out of the house.
Wow. So, well, fair play to start with. So we're talking, this is last year.
That's last year, but this is, I mean, really, the build up to this, I would say, has been going on since, I mean, you could say 4 or 5 years, really, in all honesty. You know, this stuff doesn't happen overnight for people, you know, and it takes a really long time. And unfortunately, that's how it is. It takes a long time of sustained things like this before you recognize that it's not healthy, you know.
So there are people out there that are going through the same, you know, they're going through that 4-year period, and you don't know what stage they're at. And, you know, what was it? If you could bottle what you had for yourself, whether it be a thought, whether it be so you talk a little bit about a sign from the universe and this letter being signed off with Esther. What did you know about that at the moment? Did you just see it as a coincidence, or had you some knowledge of this manifestation? Like, where did that come from?
I'm very, well, I'm from a very Christian background, very, very Christian background. My stepmom's a pastor. So, you know, that's pretty much like, apart from being like the Archbishop of Canterbury or the Pope, you know, that's pretty high up in the church, isn't it? And that's always been a massive part of my family life. But as with a lot of people that get brought up in the church, they do have a tendency to move away. I've never, ever stopped believing in God or the universe or higher power, however you want to see it. I've never stopped. I've never felt that wasn't the case for me. But, you know, I haven't really been in touch with my spiritual side. It's usually when we are literally at our rock bottom that we find ourselves in these moments where we're praying and we're asking, what is the bigger meaning? What is the bigger picture to this? But I do believe in signs, and, you know, I don't really believe in coincidences. So for me, that was just, it's, you know, synchronicities and coincidences. It's all the universe giving you a little nudge to say, yes, that this is right, or yes, we've got your back. So that for me was a huge like prod in the right direction. It was like, yeah, just write this letter, bitch, and get on with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't give you the courage. Like, what enabled you to do that? Is it something you would say to yourself? Is it because you had no option? Like, without me putting words into your mouth, how would you describe that for you? Do you know what, though? It felt, even the moment where I gave the letter over, I didn't feel brave. Yeah. I still felt really, really scared. Yeah. And I still felt like I was crushing other people's, you know, dreams, and it was like you're in the lion's lair, but I knew that there was no way out. That's the only way I can explain it, is that for me, I was like, there is no going back on this now. And that's the only, you know, because I knew that there was no way to rectify. It was just that, like, pushing me, that just saying, you know, and saying, this is hard now, but you will be happy. So I think that if you had to put it as a phrase, it's like, you will be happy, you deserve to be happy. I think that's probably the main thing that I would ask people to take away from something like this. If you're in that situation, it's like, you do not have to settle. You deserve to live happily ever after. Everybody does. And if you're, you know, and no, it's pretty harsh for me to say it, because there's a lot of people out there that probably aren't in, you know, happy relationships, and no relationship is easy. You know, I'll say that no relationship is fucking cupcakes and rainbows all the way. But if this isn't truly in line with you and what you want, go after what you do want. What is your favorite cupcake?
I'm quite partial to a lot of cupcakes. I really like red velvet. Yeah. I like I love a bit of peanut butter. Oh, banoffee. It's a banoffee.
Do you think if we mentioned that, because when we spoke for the first time, you were going up to that service station.
Gloucester Services.
So if we shout out Gloucester Services and then you tag them in this and you share, I wonder if you'll get a free lifetime supply. Oh,
they do the best tea cakes, everybody. So if you're going past Gloucester Services, they make these giant tea cakes. Amazing. They're blow you away, but they also, they blow your gut away
Bloat
as
you
well.
away, yeah, absolutely.
And they cost quite a lot. They're about £3.20 a tea cake, but it is like a whole dessert. Like they're like, Gloucester Services, please, lifetime membership. That'd be great.
Definitely tag them in it, and then amazing. So, I mean, you talk a little bit around kind of the science in the universe, and then when we were talking, I let you know that it was episode 26. What does 26 have to do with?
It's my house. It's my house number.
Yeah.
It's my new house number, and I love my new house.
Nice.
So
Another little sign.
Yeah, it's just like, and I see it quite a few places now. 26 comes up for me quite a lot. But this week, 43 is plaguing me like you wouldn't believe. It's everywhere. And ironically, it used to be my ex-husband's number. So he was like, 43 is my number. And I cannot explain to you how many times I think I've seen it this week. We're talking maybe over 100.
Wow.
And it's I love it, but it's driving me batty.
Is that what goes through your mind? Are you searching for why, or are you expecting something to, like, what is it?
No, I just, every time I see that, I just say, I know I'm on the right path. And that's what I say to anybody. So like, if you see 9/11, 11/11, 22/22, because obviously that's a magnification of 11/11. All angel numbers have got a different meaning. You can look them all up. But if you're seeing things like that and you're seeing them a lot, it is the universe saying, keep on, you're on the right track. So I take it as an encouragement. But it gets to a point with 43 where I'm just like, I cannot.
Yeah, this is getting weird now.
I woke up at 4:34 this morning, and like, so all I saw was like the 4 and the 3 just like going back and forth in my head. And then even like wrapping Ripley up a present, and it said includes 43 stickers, and I was like, why not?
Wow.
45?
You want a 44? Yeah, like
50, 40, like why?
Yeah.
What a like random number, but it's everywhere. So if anybody else who's seeing those, you're on the right path. That is, it's a nudge, it's a wink. Take it as a positive sign.
So Laura's here. Laura's with us, and she just said one
Laura.
word in the comments. She just says banana. So I don't know whether she's like got Tourette's or being a minion, or she's referring back to the cakes.
Banana. She's talking about the cakes for sure, but it's banoffee. But I do love making banana bread, banoffee muffins. That is the one thing I bake, and I bake it good.
Amazing. Rebecca's here. Rebecca says such an inspiring story. She's not wrong.
And Jeff Jackson's put a load of like burritos, tacos.
Lots of tacos, yeah.
I'm happy with that, yeah.
Winning. So let's fast forward a little bit further then. And you've made the courageous break, and life's 100 miles an hour. What gets you through that time period?
Just knowing that I'd done that, honestly. It was still hard. Like when I moved out and it was in this tiny little annex, my bedroom now, I reckon, is bigger than bigger than the annex.
Yeah.
But I remember just walking in there and being like, this is my, like right now it's only like a little rented thing, but I was like, this is my safe space. This represents a new beginning for me. And I loved that. Like, it was enough, and I was just grateful for that. So I think, for me, gratitude played a huge part in knowing that I did have so many good things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And it is just getting over that hurdle. But I did spend a lot of time doing meditation and, discover mindfulness and manifestation, etc. That really, really did help me to switch off, because it was hard. And, you don't just, being honest, you don't say you want a divorce from someone and then you just, that's it. Yep. Like there is still very difficult conversations to be had. There's a lot of very high emotions. So I really needed the meditation to just completely switch off from that.
Yeah. Because any particular resource that kind of helped you with that?
I just love YouTube, honestly.
Yep.
Like I just type in guided meditation. I think for somebody who's a complete beginner, guided is great, because if you just ask somebody to switch off, and that is true meditation. True meditation doesn't, you're not being guided by a person, you are in complete silence. But anything on YouTube, really, I haven't found a bad one yet, to be honest.
Cool.
Everything that's on there is great. And I like that you can pick the time. I don't really get on with Headspace and Calm that much. Not sure why that is, but that just didn't work out for me. But I just love to go on YouTube and just see what comes along, and like just pick where your intuition feels. And sometimes you're like, I knew that was the right one because it just spoke to you at the right time.
What does meditation give you?
Clarity. It completely just helps you quiet your mind and have that opportunity to start receiving like clear, inspired thoughts rather than just general shit that your brain is telling you, like and it talks a lot of shit. So meditation really helps with that, really helps with de-stressing and just being present and in the moment, which is like one of the main things of mindfulness, is like knowing how to come back to the moment and stop your thoughts from spiraling and going off on a tangent with worry, really.
I love that. So when was Miss Manifester born?
When was she born? I mean, I'd already started manifesting and stuff before she was born, but I hadn't at that point realized that this was something I really wanted to share and embark on with other people. So I was just manifesting on my own.
With your Billy Joel.
With Billy Joel, and and just my notebooks and just cracking on and all that. But no, it must have been around. I reckon it was like around June or July. And being really honest, I mean, everyone's like, the name is genius. We love Miss Manifester. But the reason why Miss Manifester came up was because Instagram was clogged to fuck with everybody else taking all the good names. I came up with like all these like so my initials are EM. So I was like going for like empowerment and like all sorts of stuff. And then I just wanted manifest or manifester, and it was like everybody would have it, and they'd only have one follower. And I was like, Jesus, why does this happen? Like, don't come up with the good names and then like not post anything. So anyway, Miss Manifester was born because out of desperation.
Well, and she's not Mrs. Manifester anymore.
No,
so.
she ain't. No, she's not Mrs. Manifester anymore.
And anyway, it's probably I was thinking about what would I have called your business, and I think McCann do attitude just doesn't quite.
I get a lot of things around McCann, like McCann do, don't know, I'm not vibing with that.
No, I like it, and at least you haven't had to pay someone for the Twitter handle or the Instagram handle, so winning.
No. I love not having to pay people to do shit for me.
Not yet. So tell us a little bit about what you do through your life coaching, and how are you helping others?
So my main goal with coaching is to help people with their mindset, because I really do believe I came from a place where I was very negative, very, very moany. Like, I don't know if you know what I mean, but this will resonate with some people. But I used to go back on my Facebook feed and it'd just be like, bitch, please stop moaning. I never realized, like, looking back through it, how negative it was. And the thing is, I honestly did have 4 years of shit. I had, I had a flat, had 2 people massively fuck me over with that flat. And it cost me thousands and thousands of pounds.
Wow.
Had so much shit happen in those. I wasn't well. I had a lot of hospital tests. They thought I had bowel cancer. There was so many things going on. And I just never really realized that. I mean, we talked about it the other day and we touched on it. Like, you can manifest bad shit as well as manifest good shit. Like,
thoughts become things.
Thoughts become things. Law of attraction is a real thing. And the law of attraction doesn't mean just attracting the good shit. You can attract the bad stuff to you as well. If you're putting out negative vibes and worry and all of that. So for me, it's all about teaching people first about how to get their mindset right. And once you start that shift from negative to positive, you're in a much, much better place then to start letting abundance flow to you.
What helped you?
With manifesting?
No, negative to positive.
Honestly, meditation, learning how to be more positive and let things bother me less.
Is this something that you had to find for yourself, or did someone say, look, you're annoying me now, can you start doing some of these things? Like, where did they come from?
No, it literally came, honestly, you know, like on YouTube, how it goes from feed to feed to feed. Like, so you'll listen to something, the next thing comes up.
Yeah.
So for me, probably the biggest, I'll go talk about law of attraction. So the biggest law of attraction influence for me was Abraham Hicks. So for people that don't know who Abraham Hicks is, her name is actually also Esther. And she effectively channels, and you can take this as crazy, but if you listen to it, just listen to what she's saying, it makes sense. But she effectively channels what she describes as a being called Abraham, which is like higher source, you know, vibration, and she's like translating the messages and then giving it to us so that we know how to apply law of attraction and just lead happier lives. That's the best way I can explain it without it sounding a bit like but so I can't remember how it came up, but obviously with meditation and lots of things like that, you know, Abraham Hicks comes up in the feeds. Started listening to it, and I was just like, this just is amazing, particularly talking about, you know, learning how to be satisfied and being in touch with your emotions and using your emotions as an indicator. So if your emotions are off, basically that's your indicator that, you know, you're not in alignment. So, you know, rather than spend loads of time going back and cleaning up all your old shit and trying to sort that out, she says you can't really do that. You can't unlive your life. And you know, the thing to do is learn how to shift your focus to things that are more positive. So yeah, no one told me that I was being a negative Nancy. I just knew that I had made a big change, and if you're going to make a big change like that, you're not going to be half-assed about it and go, okay, well, I've made a change now, but I think I'm going to sit in my annex and be, you know, and be miserable. Like, if you're going to do that, you're like, no, it's up and out from here. You really need to like be willing to like put all that, you know, work in. And I didn't really think of it as being work, but it was just a conscious decision to choose to be happy. And I think that's the main thing that people need to do. Like, you cannot carry on clinging on to, you know, old stuff. You have to say, all right, I'm going to forgive, I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to choose to be happy and be positive. It's a choice. And
so when you say about choosing to be happy, let's take you back to in the midst of that difficult period. Was it lack of mindfulness, as in terms of you didn't know you were unhappy, or was it this kind of holding yourself back because you didn't feel like you deserved to be happy?
I think I was in a state of existing, and I don't think that I knew I wasn't living my most authentic life, and I knew I wasn't being true to myself, and I'd known that a long time. But I just wasn't really aware of how bad it was, and it just took a few things to kind of make, you know, wake me up. I think that's how I would describe it, as waking up.
Absolutely.
To that.
What sort of things are you doing with your clients these days then with Miss Manifestor? What sort of programs of work do you offer, and how do you help people?
So at the moment, it's mainly been all around like mindset. You know, at the end of the day, I feel that with mindset, if you can get that right, you can affect any area of your life. You know, it's not about having a positive mindset, you know, just towards body image, or it, you know, it can affect every single area of your life. So whatever clients want to work on, effectively, you know, they can have it. But now I'm pushing it more towards manifestation. So I've launched a program. It starts in the new year, so it's like perfect timing for people. We're wrapping up 2018, and the idea is that we spend the first half of it working on people's mindsets, starting that shift from negative to positive, working on their emotions, and really building up the self-love and the feeling that they deserve to have the things that they want, because then they'll be in a place to then start letting that flow to them. There's no point in me sitting down and saying, right, here we are, week one. Let's do this method, let's do that method. And they've still got all, you know, they haven't really, you know, sorted out what's going on within them. You know, and really started that positive change process. So that's kind of where that's at, really. And then they say that, you know, apparently it takes 90 days to shift a core belief. So the idea is that, you know, we start that and we get people on their way, so that with hopefully within 3 months, they can start seeing some major changes in their lives.
Nice. I like
Nice,
that.
smooth.
Nice. My business is called Always Better Than Yesterday. So what does always better than yesterday mean to you?
It always means moving forward. I mean, for you as a coach, as well that we're not, as coaches, really looking to resolve past issues for people. We're all about moving forward, and I don't believe in the slightest that anybody is defined by their past. Everybody's made a mistake. Nobody here is without sin. No one, at the end of the day, is perfect. And I think too many people get bogged down in what has been. So I'm just really about moving forward every day, and I think that's what I take from that phrase, really, that yesterday kind of doesn't really matter anymore.
Absolutely, it's gone.
Yeah, yesterday's gone.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Are we doing karaoke now?
Yeah, why not? Hi, hang on, I just say Laura's put that was her favorite cake. It still is my favorite cake. And hi, Jonathan.
Jonathan, darling, how are you, my friend? Great to see you. So, how are some of the ways that you were always better than yesterday?
That's a good question. I don't dwell on my past mistakes, like I said, but at the same time, I do try to turn any negative on its head. So, I think that there's a positive to be taken from every situation, whether it's I could have reacted to that better.
Yeah. Is there a process that you go that takes you through that, like with the reflective set of questions, or is it just conscious awareness of?
I think for me, it is more conscious awareness. I do write down my journaling is very much try to focus on the positive. So at the end of the day, I will write down what I'm grateful for, what has gone well today. I don't tend to dwell too much on what has gone wrong because I feel like I'm giving it my negative attention. So I really do honestly try to just let that kind of go over my head. I feel like as soon as you give it attention, you give it energy and you make it worse. So so for me, that is a lesson learned, really, that, just to let things go a lot more. But like I said, there are moments where, mindfulness does go out the window and I lose my rag with stuff. And I think, where was mindfulness then? Where was that?
Yeah.
For
Is
me,
there anything
I feel
that snaps you back into the present moment? Is there anything?
I always tell clients that they need to come back to their breathing. That is the number one mindfulness thing. That is the number one, trick. We've all been talking a lot recently about, I've been talking with Emma about doing it and some other clients as well about putting your one finger over the nose. You see it a lot in yoga. Breathe in through one side, out through the other. That takes a lot of conscious effort. It's not just, it's a thought process. So it really does help bring you back to the present moment. But, the thing is with mindfulness, it all takes work, and it's not just like you do a bit of yoga here and there, a bit of, meditation once a week or whatever. It's, again, with choosing happiness, you have to choose to have a better mindset, and it does take commitment for sure. And even I have moments, I'm not I'm not some sort of I'm not some sort of supernatural being that's immune to being in a piss. I do have moments. That's probably, for me now, I reckon only spend about 5% of my time being I think that's quite low. I think I don't I've just become a lot more aware of when I'm letting something bother me. And I think if you know that you've had a bad day, it's getting to the end of that day and thinking, how could I have done that better? Why has this bothered me? And then going from there, really.
It's empowering, isn't it? But you're using your thoughts, you're using your mind to empower you, because the opposite is to treat, to feel like you're a victim, to take away your power to affect change and do anything differently with it. And you talk about that 5%. what if that 5% was more? Are you really going to get the most out of your days and enjoy yourself and
No.
achieve and get what you want in life? So
No, I think the thing with, I think a lot of people do have, could call it a victim complex.
yeah,
And I think the thing is that actually people find playing the victim actually makes them feel powerful in a way, because it's like a crutch, and
yeah.
and
Sometimes
people
they
are,
get what they need, and sometimes that might be attention and sympathy.
yeah, yeah, and that's the attention they want. And then, but it gets to a point where people, how that only works for so long before people start to, it wears thin. You can only be a victim for so long. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think that's a big problem. And with that, it really is choosing to let that go. Like, you don't have
absolutely.
to be a victim. It's
Yeah.
actually more powerful. You're more powerful forgiving and choosing to let go, and making that choice. I think a lot of people react to conditions, events, experiences. If you can choose that you're going to do that, not off the back of something happening to you, if you can just wake up one day and say, no, I'm going to choose to be different, that is like the biggest superpower of all, really.
Have you ever had moments of self-doubt in your journey?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. um I think, how can I mean, I do think I'm worthy, and I do think that, you know I'm as good as the next person, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
yeah.
you do have moments where you think, um somebody's doing better than you, or or just stuff like that. And you're only human, but it's catching those thoughts when they
Mm,
happen.
mm.
That's the biggest thing. Is for some people, they get that thought, and then it takes control, and then it just ruins the whole day then, because you've
Check
gone off.
yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yes. Is that one of yours, one of your
All right.
catchphrases?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. By all means, feel free to quote me on that one. But it's so true what you say, isn't it? We're not immune to those thoughts. It's
No.
just the awareness of them, I guess.
I think, yeah, and I think that for me, I feel like those thoughts come up less and less and less. The more that
Hmm.
the more that I practice like this, and the more that I
Mm,
bop them on the head, like before they kind of go full fledged, the
yeah,
better. But um, yeah, I have to stop them in their tracks, and usually that will either be coming back to breathing, or going, right, no, I need to do something, and
yeah.
I really need to distract myself from this, and just change the story, change the focus, and just get on to something different.
I've always found this concept of talk to myself, not listen to myself, has been
Mm,
really, really powerful. Because if I listen to myself, I'll be saying, "Who are you, mate, to
mm,
be talking about these things?" And they're going to see straight through you. Whereas if I say to myself, "Show up, have fun, and do your best,"
mm.
then I'm kind of a bit more immune to the outside world. I continue to show up.
Yeah, I think it's really important, like speaking your words, and
Mm,
and doing like positive affirmations over yourself, and like
mm,
literally telling your head the story that you want to tell about yourself. It
mm.
does feel like, the battle between good and evil sometimes, what's
Yeah,
going on up there. It really
yeah.
is, and it just comes from, a place of fear, and but it's
Mm.
quashing that ego, really.
So I've heard a few positive affirmations come out from you during this interview. Something like,
Have I now?
you deserve to be happy,
Yes.
or
I
you are
did say that.
worthy. You are worthy. You deserve to be happy. Have you got like a go-to set of affirmations that you use that you'd be willing to share?
I don't really have a set of go-to ones. I
Hmm.
tend to would rather, I get my clients to write things that are the most personal for them, really.
Hmm.
But it's how you use them, really. It's getting it to a point where it seems natural and ingrained. So
Mm,
I always sort of say, you can put it on your bathroom mirror, because you will go there every day,
mm,
when you're brushing your teeth, etc. I say you can set it as a screensaver on your phone, so that it comes up and you see it straight away.
mm,
um, or just like, honestly, just get up and say, right, I will make the time to do my affirmations and to speak this stuff over my life before I go out the front door, so I feel a lot more powerful as I go out. But I mean, for it can be, I'm a confident person, I am, I'm good with customers. It can be
hmm, hmm.
whatever whatever is almost like the opposite of whatever your head's telling you. It's like turn it on its head and say the opposite,
I
really.
love that. And one thing before we go, and I know we didn't talk about this, so I'm putting you on the spot, but you did is it a Women in Business event last
I
week, a couple of
did.
weeks ago?
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago now, but like, yeah, it feels like ages ago, but it also
Yeah.
feels like yesterday.
So in that event, did you get up and you gave a talk? Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that your
about
life? That's your life now?
oh,
Inspiring. You like to do more speaking in the future?
um, yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm doing a lot of speaking on the internet in a way, like, and I mean that's still a valuable platform
Yeah.
because you reach so many people. But yeah, it was my first ever time properly public speaking, and I absolutely loved it. I
Yeah.
told the story about where I'd come from with my divorce, and everybody was very, very. I felt like everybody really enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Either
So
that or you're all lying to me, but
so
yeah.
public speaking, people say public speaking is right up there, top fear that most people have. How did you feel?
Oh,
Did you have
awful.
nerves? Yeah.
Awful. So I'll go all out and share. So I'm being honest, I get a really upset stomach when I get nervous. And I woke up on the Friday morning and I wasn't nervous. And then but I'd already gone to the bathroom like 6 times, and I was like, I'm not nervous, but what is this about? And then I met up with my boyfriend in London, so we sort of made it a bit of a night away, but also like he was there for moral support, which I'm so grateful for, because it's just so lovely to have somebody that supports what you do. But anyway, so I did my speech in front of him, but it wasn't like really me. Like I didn't inject any personality into it. And he was like, no, it's just, you're going to bum everyone out. It's too heavy. Like, it's just too dark. You're just, no.
That's love right there, isn't it? That's the
Yeah.
truth, even though you might not want to hear it.
But I was like, oh no. And then I got really, really nervous, because then I started to feel like shit, like my whole talk is like about to go up in smoke, because he doesn't like it. And then
It's because he knew you weren't being yourself.
No, I think it was just like, he still sees, he's seen me go through stuff, and I think, it was too close to home, really, I think. And but yes, equally I was delivering it, like a wooden spoon. So I didn't come across it when I was standing in front of the IBIS TV, like, giving that. But I was super nervous. And then I got up the next day, took 3 Imodium, so I'd highly recommend those.
You want a sponsorship for those as well?
Esther McCann, sponsored by Imodium. So took 3 of them, and then I did another rendition and it went better. But when I got to the venue, do you know what? The venue was just so beautiful, and everyone was really friendly. And then to me, this was not a coincidence. So a lady there caught my eye. She's actually a stylist. That's probably why, because she just stood out. But I was like, oh, hello, like, because she was there on her own and not many people were there. And she was like, oh, hi. And so we started talking, and straight away we started talking about law of attraction within about 10 seconds. And I was like, this conversation was meant to be, because, like, just not everyone's into that. It's not everyone's bag. And as soon as I had that conversation, I just felt like I'm home now. Like, I'm fine. And it just made me feel like, no, you do know your shit and you are powerful and you can do this.
Nice.
And I think that's just the, little reminder that you need sometimes. And you've got nothing to be scared of if you're into public speaking. I think the main thing is people there that, they're giving you the time of day, but they want to listen to you. They want to learn something from you. They're not sat there, being, judgmental. Like, they're not sat there for that reason. They're there because they're interested. So, always take it that's, what they're hoping to get from it.
Yeah.
It's not about, judging you on what you're wearing or whatever. And everyone was so supportive, and it was just so lovely. Like, it was a real, like, women empowering women vibe.
Yeah.
Really
it's
amazing.
Funny what you've just said, isn't it? Because actually the irony of you being a public speaker is it's not about you. It's about what the people think and feel when they're sat there listening to your story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
yeah, it's what people take away from it. And there was some of the talks there were just like, so,
Yeah.
deep and mind blowing, and it's like you won't forget them. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it is an art, it's not like anyone can just stand up and,
Of course.
but I definitely, think it was an amazing experience. So thank you, Women in Business. Really enjoyed
Amazing.
that.
Amazing.
Shout
No,
that one.
that's amazing, and I remember following your story throughout the day, and I just remember being so excited for you, just knowing
Oh,
that you had that huge opportunity, and yeah, it looked like you did really well, made some great connections. So
Oh, well, the lady who I spoke to, Law of Attraction lady, honestly, we've spoke like every day since. Like I went to that event going, I just want to make a friend today. That's
yeah,
all I want. I was like, that's my one goal. I said that to people, and it was like I felt like I nailed it within being there 30 seconds, because we hit it off. I left, and it's like, yeah. So big shout out to Sharma when she watches this.
amazing, you're amazing. You could tag her in and let us see. So, how can people follow you? How can they come and find more of your content?
Right, so my main platform is Miss Manifester on Instagram. That's MISSMANIFESTHER, because people can't spell Esther, so how the fuck are you going to spell that?
But you'll tag it in. You'll tag it in here, and so people can go straight to it, right?
Yeah, I'll tag it, and and then my other platform is mainly just this profile, which is, I feel like a bit of a dick actually that I've called it like Esther Coach-McCann. My surname isn't Coach-McCann, but I just got so many people adding me, and I on my personal profile, and when you've got a child, for me, having that privacy for my daughter is still really important to me, and I just was like, no, I need to set up something else so that I can just keep all this stuff really, really, really condensed and positive and punchy, and not have to like feel a little bit like on edge, a bit violated. So
yeah, absolutely. And there's a website.
oh yeah, I do have a website. It's esthermccann.com.
Amazing. So you're going to tag all so they can connect with you. If they push our faces right now, they can connect with us. And if you're new to watching this, and by all means push the follow button or the friend request, or connect to either of us. If what Esther said to you today has really, really resonated, then you're more than happy for people to reach out, start a conversation with you.
Yeah, start a conversation with me. It's fine. I've got plenty of words to say. I'm so running my mouth all the time. So honestly, always happy to have conversations with people.
Amazing. And if this conversation has added some value, then please do share it with that one person that you feel needs to hear it. There are people out there that are going through difficult times. And if something that Esther has said, or something that Esther has done over the last few years that you think that you need to learn a little bit more about, then go and ask some questions. Ask those curious questions. Don't be afraid. You'll be glad you did. We've had many conversations. I've always enjoyed talking with you. EstherMcCann.com. There we go. Your assistant
thanks.
Put it in there.
I'm hiring. Laura's already, the position has been filled. She has
proud,
been hired.
Proud bestie.
And I just want to say thank you to Ryan, obviously, for having me on here, but also massive thanks, Ryan, for what you actually do with, all your interviews, your motivational groups. I think it's so great that you give up so much of your time to support so many people. And I know that it really, really does touch people's lives. I'm just going to put it out now. Ryan, are you doing it this week? The 9:00 goal setting?
Yeah, 10 minutes time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So at 9:00 on Ryan's, is it on your group?
In our group, yeah.
Because I'm not good at technology. So in Ryan's group, we are always better than yesterday. So at 9:00 on Sundays, he does goal setting. So you come online, say what you need to sort out this week, and then everybody else knows, and we all hold each other accountable for our shit. So absolutely. No excuses. And I loved it last week. It was my first one that I'd done last week, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I will pop on, but I got to do some mum stuff, but I'll pop on at the end and just say hello or whatever. All right.
Amazing. No, that's I really appreciate that. Thank you. And
it's okay.
So we've shared your content. What would your final thought be? Leave the guys and girls with a final thought.
Be grateful this week. There's always something to be grateful for, even when you're absolutely at your rock bottom. There is always something, and even if it is down to like, I just have a bed to sleep in, I have a body that's helping me breathe, oxygen. Yeah. I'm grateful that the sun comes up every day. If you are feeling at your absolute lowest, just start there. Like just start with something and always reach for a good feeling, you know, like just go out and do something that makes you happy and just try to amplify that as much as you can.
Did you say be grateful, sweet?
Sweet?
Is that what you said?
No.
Oh.
I don't know.
I thought you said be grateful, sweet. I was like, oh, that's nice.
No, I don't know I don't think that is what I said.
Maybe I heard what I wanted to hear.
All right, sweet. You can take that to the bank.
That's amazing. I love that. Find something to be grateful is all around us.
Find something to be grateful for this week.
I prefer the other version.
All right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for
Tumbleweed.
Your time. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I get that all the time. So thank you so much for your time. I really, really enjoyed connecting in the past, now, and definitely more so in the future.
Absolutely.
So guys, girls, if you've enjoyed this, please like, share, follow, whatever you need to do. But make sure that if you've learned something today and you think it's going to be valuable, then use it. This stuff works. Esther is proof of that. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I might see you on the other side in about 10 minutes' time.
I'll definitely see you. Won't be in 10 minutes, but I'll try and pop in, all right? But
nice
yeah, we appreciate you too, Ryan. And thanks for watching, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.